Good afternoon. Welcome to the ABC7 studios. I'm Philip Palmer, and we have an Ask the Expert ready for you. We're excited to talk to Danny Trejo. He's right here. He's ready to go. And Danny, we love bringing people into the studio and kind of taking a look at things. And I'm going to give them a little inside baseball. You changed your hat. Like 5 seconds ago, we've got our Dodger hat on. You must be ready for Dodger baseball.
Absolutely. Are you ready for Dodger baseball?
But you are ready. You've got something special going on.
Hey, oh, Dodger donuts.
We want to talk about those Dodger donuts before they go. I see they're, let's see, they're available at your Santa Monica Boulevard store in Hollywood, and that is a special donut. It's buttermilk glaze, right?
Yeah.
So what made you think of this?
I'm a LA fan, Dodgers. Wait till the Rams play. But yeah, I love the Dodgers. I was around when they were building Chavez Ravine. We used to cut school and go watch them build the stadium.
What is it like right now? I mean, every year, year after year, baseball means summer, summer means baseball, but this with COVID, it's so much different. Does it mean more to be able to see a game even without people in the stands, just to finally be able to see something?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? I wish Vince Scully was still around because he just made it so much fun. But I love the Dodgers. I love watching them play, and it's great. Yeah, it's great to be at the stadium, but we can support the fan. We can support the team right from where we're at.
Yeah, there's something to be said about if we're going to only be able to listen to the game, having Vin do the game. And that's no knock on the guys that are doing it now either. But I do want to point out with the donuts, it's not just for opening day, which was yesterday. It's all the way through Sunday, right? And they can go to the Trejo's Coffee and Donuts.
Yep, Santa Monica and Highland, and just hey, order as many as you want. We got plenty.
Okay. You know, we also talk. I want to talk about your restaurants a little bit as well. What's in there? When did you get into baking? It's
actually there's jelly, but I can't tell you the complete ingredients, or then I'd have to kill you. So it's delicious.
I want to talk something about your restaurants, not just the donuts, but also the Trejo's Tacos. It's such an important part of who you are, and you've really taken a time in this pandemic to also give back. We wanted to show some video of some of the food that you've been giving out to your community, to people in need. Can you talk about how it's been important to you to be able to take that restaurant and help other people?
Well, the reality is, me and my friends, we owe a lot. We just owe a lot. From where we came from to where we're at, we owe a lot. So I don't condemn anybody that doesn't have the time to do this stuff. But my friends and I owe a lot. And I promised God in 1968 that if he lets me die with dignity, I'll say his name every day, and I'll do whatever I can for my fellow man. So that's all. I'm just keeping a promise. And he's keeping his end. I talked to God a couple days ago, and I asked him, how am I doing? He goes, great, Danny. You're almost out of hell. Keep it up.
You're talking about something right there that was also in your documentary. And this is a special opportunity for me to talk to you. A lot of people don't get a chance to ask questions about movies or something that they saw of a person. And Danny, I got to tell you, many times I'll talk to my son about Rotten Tomatoes, and I'll say, is that a good number or is that a bad number? Your documentary, Inmate Number One, is 100 out of 100. I need to tell people this is something to see. And as we talk about your restaurants, part of what you talk about in there is the dream that you and your mom had of starting a restaurant. Your dad wasn't as on board as you and your mom.
My dad was the Mexican Archie Bunker. And every time we talked about a restaurant, my dad would say something, hey, I got a restaurant, right? I got a kitchen right there. Go cook whatever you want. Because in the 50s, women didn't work. They were kind of like housewives. That's what you. In fact, my dad came from 5 brothers, and if your wife worked, and there was a family gathering. I mean, they would catch hell. You know, they'd say something, "Hey, Art, you want a beer?" No, wait a minute, hold on. Bonnie, can Art have a beer? You know, because she worked, so it's like she wore the pants. So I remember they was catching hell, you know. And now I'm glad women just took over.
Well, can you tell me a little bit? You know, I want to pull from that movie a little bit because it was very emotional when you talked about your mom. When you look at the success of your restaurants and you see that dream that you and her had, what does it mean for you personally when you see that part of your life going in such a great direction?
I wish she could have seen it, and really the everything good that has happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else. I did a low budget movie as a favor to a director, and it was a movie called Badass. And really, I didn't want to do it. It wasn't a lot of money. There was another movie coming down that was a lot more money. And my agent Gloria, listen to your agents. My agent Gloria said, Danny, I think this one might turn into something. This is a good thing, and there's room for a sequel here. I go, yeah, but this is more money, and so anyway, thank God I took her advice and we did a Badass, and that turned on to a trilogy. So I made 3 times as much money, and but the first one I happened to meet a producer named Ash Shaw, who was a food connoisseur, and he saw that I don't eat fast food and I don't eat junk food, and he said, Danny, why don't you open a restaurant? Jokingly, I said Trejo's Tacos. So 2 movies later, Badasses and Badass on the Bayou, he brought me a business plan, and me being the brilliant businessman that I am, I immediately gave it to my secretary. I didn't even read it. I never read it. And I gave it to my agent, my agent, Gloria, and my secretary, Mary, and they kind of said, hey, it's a no-brainer. So if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be in the restaurant business. But we did it. Now we have 7 restaurants. We even have one restaurant with that puck guy, like in the airport. And that's, when you got one in LAX, that means you're like a real restaurant, you know.
And if your mom could have been a part of it, that would have been probably pretty something special, huh?
Awesome. Yeah, that'd have been awesome.
I want to ask you about the documentary as well. I mean, a lot of people are probably going to get a chance to see it. It just came out, I guess, July 7th, Amazon Prime. But you don't pull any punches. I mean, you basically have, throughout your life, told your entire family everything about yourself. That first hour or so, that's heavy stuff. My question to you was, how hard was it for you to relive a lot of that so intimately?
I think that's one of the hardest things I've ever done. You know, my life's not a secret. Everybody knows that what I went through, and kind of been interviewed 1,000 times. But I think we got a little more in depth about, not so much about going to prison, you know, but about the fear. You know, I don't care who you are. It's like when you hit that big yard in San Quentin, you're wondering what went wrong in my life, you know, and you know, you start trying to do steps to work out of it. But I kind of had decided to spend the rest of my life in prison. But like I said, by the grace of God, it doesn't matter where you start; it matters where you end.
Well, and let me tell everybody who might want to, because of this, get a chance to see the documentary. It doesn't stay that place the whole time. There's a big finish because it is uplifting. You make me smile a lot when I'm watching it, Danny. And I want to take what you were just talking about with that cycle of prison and people thinking they're, you know, just stuck in that rut. And I want to talk about current state of affairs, where we are. So many people talking about systemic racism, crime and punishment, how there's just this cycle of going back and forth. From your experience and from just being a person alive, how do we break out of this? How do we change some of the system that we're with?
You know, first of all, there's nothing wrong with protesting. You know, protesting is the right of an American. But the minute somebody throws a rock, a bottle, well, you've just turned it into a riot. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. And I honestly believe when you start a riot, you got what's coming to you. You get what's coming to you. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. The minute that bottle is thrown, that glass is broken, you've just started a riot. Now, what people that want to protest have to do, they have to be their own police force. You have to have people that when dummies show up, you got get out of here. Let's go. Get. You know what I mean? And because there's protesters, and then there's people that want to get something out of that protest. And if you let those people get something out of those protests, then you're part of the riot. And I'm not for riots. The last riot I was in, I almost went to the gas chamber. So, and so I don't want to hear about, we're just protesting. Like I said, the minute somebody throws a bottle, a rock, does something to a police officer, you've just started a riot. And I know a lot of you are thinking, wow, why is he saying that? Because I believe in protest. We have the right to protest. We're Americans. If you want to change stuff, vote. All the people that were down there protesting, I would, if they weren't registered to vote, I wouldn't let them protest, because that's the weapon that we have. We don't like what's happening, vote them out. And I mean, if all the people that were protesting down there decided on one candidate, we could have whatever we wanted.
That is the truth. And if people want to hear more about throwing rocks, they got to watch Inmate Number One. That's another little bit of a tease there. Let's talk about Hollywood, Danny. I mean, your career has spanned hundreds of movies. In many cases, because like Inmate Number One, the title of your documentary, you were kind of typecast, but you ended up being the good guy lead character as well. So you've seen some evolution in Hollywood. Again, talking about justice and the equality. How do you see Hollywood evolving?
Okay, well, instead of crying like me, I don't cry that there's not a lot of Latinos in Hollywood, because if you're mad about Latinos not being in Hollywood, let's start producing movies. You know what I mean? Because that's where it is. It's not, if I have a major movie for $30 million, I'm not gonna hire Juan Garza as the lead, or African American that nobody knows. I am gonna go get the guy that's the major star. So if we want to, Robert Rodriguez is probably one of the only producers. He changed the face of the leading man. I was the leading man. I was so leading, I got to kiss Jessica Alba.
Hey, that was ageism as well. If you want to throw that in there, weren't you 69 when you made Machete?
Yeah, I think I was.
So we checked a lot of boxes right there. So, hey, Danny, let me ask, we got some viewer questions. We have some people. Let's lighten it up a little bit. So we're going to try to see how many of these questions that we can get through here. One question, our first one, do you prefer a hard shell taco with ground beef or carne asada?
Oh, God. Both of them. You can't go wrong with a taco. Carne asada is absolutely delicious, cooked correctly, the way we cook it at Trejo's. Or ground beef is cool, too. That was mama. Because you can have carne asada at the first of the month. You know what I mean? But by the end of the month, you're cooking with ground beef. It's like, okay.
I don't see why you can't have both. I'm with you. Who's full with one taco? Okay, here's another one. Is your character from Breaking Bad just your Spy Kids character undercover?
No. Breaking Bad, I was a bad guy in Breaking Bad. Spy Kids guy was a good bad guy. He was that uncle that nobody talks about. Robert Rodriguez, we did that. We gave him that name just as an homage to Machete, because we hadn't done it yet. So he said, let's call him Uncle Machete. And then we did that. Then we did the Grindhouse premiere. We put the trailer for Machete, and everybody demanded we do it. That's all. So we did it.
Hey, Machete don't text.
That's it.
I love that story in the movie too. Hey, we're gonna get some people watching Inmate Number One if we make enough references to it. Okay, so here's a question for you. How did it feel at that moment when you knew you had made it?
Well,
and what was it? I'll ask you that. I'll add on to that. What was the moment maybe that you look at and you go, okay, I'm now here?
As a human being, I make it like when I go to sleep, when I lay down and I'm happy with myself, I feel good. When I wake up and I love life, I've made it. I'm a success. But as far as films, when I did Heat, I got to work with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Val Kilmer, John Voight. These are like the Babe Ruths of movies. The heavies, and I got to sit there and I get at lunch. Hey, pass me the tomato sauce. I mean, it was like wow. So I think that's when I decided. Wow, I'm a real actor.
Yeah. And not even the time when you were the first trailer, but that's again, that was on Machete. So where was your favorite place to film? Do you have a favorite place? That'd be a good one.
I love Austin, Texas.
Really?
Where Robert Rodriguez films, I love it because Austin is just such a small community, and they have a place called 6th Street that is awesome, and just fun to walk. One time I was walking, I forgot, I think it was a Gulf War. I was walking down 6th Street and I see these kids, man, about 18, 19 years old, and they're trying to argue about taking a picture with me. And I walk over and I go, hey, what's up, guys? They go, man, we're shipping out tomorrow. We just love to get a picture of you. I go, you guys are Marines, man. Come on. You charge bullets. So we took a picture and they go, hey, I asked them, they said, man, I wish we could get a drink. They were 18 years old, shipping out to give up their life for us, and they couldn't get a drink. I said, come on, man. So you know what? We went to every bar in Austin. I don't drink, but every time I walk into a bar, everybody, hey, Trejo, let me set him up. Okay, my crew. So, hey, I hope they made it because I got them youngsters smashed. I'm sorry. I know you people are saying, well, they were just kids, and no, they're not. They're heroes.
Yeah, when you're old enough to do that. Okay, Danny, what was your first tattoo?
Oh God, I had oh God, I can't even raise it up.
That's the first, huh?
That was at 15 years old at the New Pike in Long Beach.
All right. Okay. Well, we want to make sure that everybody sees Inmate Number One because there's a big explanation of another tattoo as well.
And tonight, my fighter, Sanis Estrada, is fighting on DAZN at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Her name's Sanis Estrada. She's fighting for the WBC world. Well, she is world champ, 108 pounds. She's fighting to defend her title. Okay,
we're running out of time. I know this one's kind of like the Austin, Texas question here. Will Trejo's Tacos open in other states? Please say Texas.
I'd love to be in Texas. I think we're looking, we were going to do a couple of states and then this thing hit. So we had to kind of like back off.
Well, Danny, there's so much more we'd love to ask you about. We're not going to have time. We want to let you go and do what your thing is. Don't forget the donuts available at your donut shop, which is in Hollywood. It's on Santa Monica Boulevard. Trejo's Coffee and Donuts. It's to celebrate Dodgers opening day. And again, Inmate Number One is now available on Amazon Prime. Hey.
Are you ready for Dodger baseball?
Danny, thank you very much. And thank you guys for joining us here in the ABC7 studio. Don't forget, Eyewitness News at 3 o'clock is coming up.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Click the ABC7 logo to subscribe to our Eyewitness News YouTube channel.